Previously on Geezerology 2.0. Okay, let's have a look at, the Three Stooges debut, Soup to Nuts. Hello everybody, Scott here. A couple of things intrigued me enough to make Soup to Nuts my pick for our pre-code watch list. First of all was Rube Goldberg's credit as screenwriter for this 1930 comedy from Fox Film Corporation and director Benjamin Stoloff. Like all of us, I've always linked Rube Goldberg's name with those goofy chain reaction machines that to this day remain part of our pop culture. I knew Goldberg was a cartoonist in his day, but I had no idea he was a screenwriter, so I did get curious when I saw his name attached to Soup to Nuts. Goldberg was the marquee name in the contemporary marketing for this movie. Over there on the right of your screen is a vintage lobby card for Soup to Nuts. And here is a magazine ad. But what got me onto Soup to Nuts in the first place was this modern poster, the one that Letterboxd attaches to the film. Soup to Nuts was indeed the film debut of the Three Stooges, and I had to have it. We decided a while ago at Geezerology 2.0 to do some pre-code movies this month, and this was the pre-code movie that I had to see. Some historical context before we start. Soup to Nuts happened before our heroes became known as the Three Stooges. It happened before Moe became known as Moe. It was when Moses was using his middle name, Harry. Soup to Nuts happened before Jerome, the youngest Howard brother, joined the act and took on the name Curly. It happened when the eldest Howard, Samuel, who had adopted the stage name Shemp, was the point man of the trio. It happened shortly after Harry's friend Larry abandoned his music career to give comedy a go. And it happened when Shemp, Harry, and Larry were part of the popular vaudeville troupe Ted Healy and his Southern Gentlemen, which also included a musician and silent comic by the name of Fred Sanborn. Healy, obviously, was the anchor of the troupe. He was the headliner, and the other guys were there to support him. Fox Film hired Healy for the lead role in Goldberg's movie, and Ted brought his four sidekicks along for the ride. In Soup to Nuts, Healy is a salesman for a costume shop facing bankruptcy because the owner spends more time building crazy contraptions than he does tending to business. Healy serves as the point man dealing with creditors, accountants, customers, firemen, everyone who wants something from the business. We get a bit of drama, we get some romance, we get a musical performance or two, and we get quite a bit of comedy along the way. Our interest, obviously, is with the comic relief, right? Shemp, Harry, and Larry pop up a couple of times in the first half of this movie as firemen who drive around town in the truck to impress the local ladies. About 50 minutes in, Healy and his sidekicks take the stage at a fireman's ball to perform a routine from their vaudeville act. Then, a building catches fire, and we spend the last 10 minutes or so of the movie watching our bumbling heroes fighting the blaze in that now familiar Three Stooges fashion. As I record this, neither Bill nor Bob has seen Soup to Nuts. I first watched it when I discovered it in January, and I'm going to give it another go before the three of us convene to talk about it. The film entered the public domain in January, and I was able to upload it to our channel without any copyright issues. So hit our channel page at Geezerology 2 to have a look with us. While you're here, please subscribe to Geezerology 2.0. Help us out. Do the like and comment things and all that stuff that boosts the channel. Okay, let's go watch Soup to Nuts. Bob and Bill will be back with me in a flash to offer their thoughts. Okay guys, Soup to Nuts. Bobby, did you find this movie as fascinating as I did?
Well, let me say this first. Man, that was weird. But yes, very fascinating. And I had a blast watching this thing. And it was really cool to see the very first beginning, of what became the Three Stooges that we all know and love. I got a kick out of it because of the fire department angle. It was a real kick for me to watch the old fire apparatus and stuff, so I enjoyed that. But there were some elements to this film that were just really weird. And I'd like to touch on a couple of those.
Go, yeah.
Okay,
I was gonna say, don't let it go. Don't say that and move on.
I wanted to tease you a little bit. Okay, I don't know if I'm reading something in here that doesn't exist, but watching the film, and so we have Ted Healy in this film, and he has a female companion. I don't know if she was his girlfriend in the movie or what she named Queenie, and he is very abusive to her. Both verbally and even physically. And there was a scene where she's caught eavesdropping on a conversation. So Ted grabs her and says, "If you tell a soul about this, I'll wring your neck. You understand?" And she replies, "Go ahead and beat me. I love brutality." And
I caught that. Yeah.
Wait, what? So it backed it up. And that is what she said. And I was like, I'm not certain how they think this is funny. I mean, did they think it was funny, or were they like pushing masochism? I mean, it was like, that was just really weird and off-putting.
I think it was a jokey thing. I don't think it was supposed to be a mean, nasty thing. I just think that was their sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it anyway.
But anyway, it just struck me as really weird. And then the other thing was the alcohol consumption in a movie made in the height of Prohibition. And I thought it was interesting. There's this one scene where in the restaurant, and the restaurant owner produces a bottle, and they're passing it back and forth. So you see the bottle of alcohol being poured into the glasses, but you don't actually see them drinking it. But I still thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting too. I was going to talk about that. It's like the camera shot, you show them sitting at the table across from each other, and then one of them brings out the bottle of whiskey, sets the bottle of whiskey on a table, and then the camera zooms in and focuses on that bottle of whiskey. And while they're talking, you don't see them. You just see the bottle of whiskey, and all of a sudden you'll see one of them pick up the bottle of whiskey, and it goes out of frame, and then the whiskey gets set down on the table, and there's less whiskey in it. And they do that 2 or 3 times, each of them picking up until the whiskey's gone. And then when the whiskey's gone, you see the bottle's empty, then the camera zooms out and you see the 2 guys sitting there talking to each other again. That was odd.
Yeah. So I guess maybe they figured that showing the actual consumption was a step too far. But, so just those 2 elements right there, I think I could see how this pre-code film would have ran afoul of the Hays Code, if it had been made a few years later. The mute character played by Fred Sanborn was weird, and he's trying to mimic Groucho Marx with the eyebrows, and then Charlie Chaplin with the walk. And
Harpo with the silence.
And Harpo with the silence, yeah. And then, I don't know if anybody picked up on this, but there's a scene in a costume shop where this would-be revolutionary named General Avocado comes in, and he wants uniforms for his rabble so they can go stage a revolution. So they're all getting outfitted. And then there's a companion scene where a woman's in there with her little child, and the child's playing with the balloon, and he's jumping on it, and he finally makes the balloon go off with a popping sound, and these would-be revolutionaries go running out of the place. Well, I found out later that child was Billy Barty.
Really?
Yes, which blew me away because, Billy Barty was the actor afflicted with dwarfism.
Yeah.
And he was like 6 or 7 years
old. Well, he was fully grown then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I know that is so rude. Yeah. So, there were just so many little nuggets of stuff in this movie that were just like, wow. And Rube Goldberg, the guy famous for all of those convoluted inventions. He wrote this film, and he actually had a cameo in it. So you see all of and the devices in the film, I guess, obviously were inspired by him. It's just fascinating to watch, and if you have a love for the Three Stooges, or if you're into old movie history, you gotta see it because of all the stuff in it. And toward the end of it, there is the setting of a fireman's ball, and Ted Healy and the three Stooges who were in the film, Moe, Shemp, and Larry. They do a routine in the middle of this fireman's ball, and it's supposedly the closest you will ever see to what they would have done in vaudeville.
As a movie, it was, pretty much emblematic of what 1930 represented. Kind of all of the coming to grips with sound and how to take acts that were, highly popular on vaudeville, on the circuits, and try to, shoehorn them into a movie format. And, clearly people are trying to figure this out, and it's a little tricky because many times it just means you got to bolt the camera down and everybody's in one shot. And until the bit ends, there's very few changes. So from, the perspective of watching a movie, it felt a lot longer than it was. But from the standpoint of seeing what you saw, as you guys were talking about, the opportunity to catch the Stooges in this kind of incarnation, and they steal the movie, of course. I mean, they're not their second build, but they are clearly outclassing everybody else who's in this movie, even their putative boss, Ted Healy, who really, you could see how his shtick might work on the stage, but it doesn't really come across all that well to me on film. But the Stooges do come across, and the funny thing is that Moe is really the heartbeat of this thing, even though the three of them are working in concert, and they essentially are deferring to Shemp, who's kind of the head guy at this particular time. So anytime they're on the screen, it's a joy to watch, even though it's kind of primitive and you don't see the full extent of their capabilities. And they do have a little, bit, which is kind of the classic kind of stuff where it's starting to come to the surface. Well, but a lot of it is just wordplay, and some of it is really hilarious. Some of it is okay, but seeing them up close is funny, and you can tell that they've got a future. You don't know exactly how it's going to pan out.
Yeah, you can see the DNA there. It's not, it's not full blown, but you can definitely see the DNA there, right?
Yes, and you can also see that most of the other folks in the movie are character actors. I mean, Charles Winninger, he plays the kindly uncle who runs the costume shop. He's got a very good character actor career ahead of him. I mean, he does a lot of stuff in the 30s and 40s in A-level movies, and he's always a nice person to see on screen. Almost everybody else kind of fades away. I thought that I can't remember his name, but the silent guy, he got on my nerves. His thing was interesting, but it started to grind my gears when it was the eyebrows. I think it was like his eyebrows had misplaced. He stole Groucho's mustache and he put them both over his eyes. So it really kind of got me nuts. And plus, he was always mouthing his lines. So that was part of his character. But you could never figure out what he was saying. It didn't seem to match up what he was telling Healy in particular, because he was usually talking to Healy. What I thought was really funny, you mentioned the fireman's ball. That was a great set piece. And right at the beginning, I thought this was going to be great with Healy, because the guy I just mentioned with the bushy eyebrows comes over to him and he's trying to give him some advice about this checker match that he's playing with another fireman, and he points out something, and so Healy follows his guidance, and he gets wiped out on the board, and Healy gets so mad that he gets up and he pushes the guy about 20 feet into the back of the fire station, and he falls down. And I thought, oh man, this is going to be great slapstick. But it doesn't really happen all that often in the movie. A little more of that would have been great. All in all, I mean, for me, I thought it was well worth investigating. It's a great way, as I said, to see both history in the making in terms of films in general, but also the birth of these guys who are going to come, into their own in the next few years, and then they're going to continue. I mean, even to this day, everybody knows who the Three Stooges are. They are, a dominant force in Hollywood shorts and in full-length comedy movies. This is essentially ground zero for Stooges fans.
Yeah, I think this is an important little artifact of film history, man, or at least comedy film history, right? Because I mean, this is the only place you can go to see that particular incarnation of them. My takeaway from it too was, I was trying to extrapolate what happened after this with the Three Stooges, and Shemp and Healy just didn't like each other, and Shemp a couple years later decided to go off and just work on his own, and just he became a pretty prolific supporting actor in a lot of comedies of the 30s and 40s, and so Moe and Larry then left and got Moe's younger brother Jerome, who started going by Curly, and brought him in. And I went and checked. They did, over the next couple of 3 years, they did make appearances in about a half a dozen films with Ted Healy, with Curly. But nothing, no starring roles or anything like that. Is like they would just show up and do a scene or something like that, and they were gone before they signed their contract with Columbia Pictures and started making shorts, and that's when they actually became the Three Stooges. They were known for a while as they called their act the Lost Souls, I think, for a while. For a while, they called themselves Howard, and Fine. But anyway, but the big thing out of this too is that, like Bob, you were saying that he was just sadistic and mean. Ted Healy was, and I kind of extrapolated all that, and he was just to me he was just a jerk. It's like I didn't find him funny. He was just a jerk. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, man. I'm thinking, man, they need to lose this guy. But my take on it is that Moe pretty much, after Shemp left and they kind of regrouped and brought Curly in, well, Moe kind of took on that bossy, mean part of Ted Healy's character to adopt that into their act, right? You kind of see because Moe or Shemp, and none of the three really were that in this movie, but then Moe became the lead stooge or the boss or whatever, the top of the totem pole, and I think that was probably Moe just they felt that they had to have that in their act, so Moe just kind of took on that role that they lost when they separated from Ted Healy. And Warren, I mean, he wasn't. He adapted it. He didn't take it totally. I mean, he just adapted it and kind of blended it into his own character, where he kind of became half one of the Stooges and half Ted Healy as the boss, right?
There's a big difference there, though. Is to me, Moe did it in not a nasty way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He just kind of blended that particular that one aspect of the Ted Healy character to become the focal point and to become the
and there were times when his fellow Stooges gave as good as they got.
Yeah, a couple of times.
But I guess the vaudeville act that Healy had at one time involved like acrobats and stuff. And when some of them left, like he and Moe Howard were supposedly childhood friends. And so he brought the Howard brothers and all these people in in a role of what they actually called stooges, and I guess they would be like out in the audience, and then would either be hecklers or would come up on stage and do pratfalls as acrobats, hence leading to them calling themselves stooges. And I guess Healy was also a degenerate drunk,
right? Which is a problem that Shemp had with him, and apparently that character that he's playing in this movie, it was like tenfold when he got drunk.
and supposedly,
and Shemp had enough, yeah.
Yeah, Healy died in a barroom brawl in 1907 when he got the crap kicked out of him.
Yeah, part of the issue too with them why they did really break from him a couple years later is that Healy would get hired for a movie and they'd bring the guys along, but he'd only give them like 2 cents on the dollar or whatever. Saying no, and so it was a money dispute too. Why they left, and the fact that he got drunk and Shemp didn't like him, so all that kind of worked together, and it turned out to be pretty fortuitous for the boys.
Fred Sanborn, if you watch the movie, who we're talking about, the guy that had the weird eyebrows and stuff, he kind of dropped out of movies and went off to do a musical career. Xylophone. And I'm like, I had no idea you could make a living playing the xylophone.
Apparently, because this is the second movie that we've done in the last few weeks where the xylophone was a big part of the movie, right? And Bill, when you said that you weren't really thrilled by him, it's like, yeah, that was kind of dumb too. But I love the scene at the end where he's playing a xylophone. I thought that was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. So he's playing with
that thing.
Like 4 mallets and 2 mallets, and he's quite good. Actually, speaking of music, we didn't mention the fact that the Stooges sang very well in their little bit.
Right, and Healy started the bit by singing a song.
Yeah, it was. They're very good. They sang it themselves, so that it wasn't covered by anybody. They did it.
Well, if you go, there is a YouTube channel at Three Stooges. The official title is Three Stooges Plus, and I don't know. I think it's probably one of Moe's grandkids, or maybe one of Larry's descendants, or something, or maybe a combination of them. But they have this YouTube channel, and every short that they made for Columbia Pictures, I don't know how many there were, but all the way from the first one to the last one with Joe DeRita, or with Joe Besser. Every one of those shorts is on this YouTube channel, and yeah. So I went and watched the first couple of them. I watched the first one, and the very first one, and now this is Curly, right? This is why you could still say that Curly is in the original Three Stooges, because they didn't become known as the Three Stooges until after Curly replaced Shemp. But anyway. So the very first one is the title of it is Woman Haters, and it's a woman haters club. But the entire short, for 17 or 18 minutes or however long it is, it's musical. So like all the lines of dialogue are sung. and it's really, really weird. And a lot of it is sort of talk singing, but they're talking in in meter and in rhymes and things, and it's really odd, and you still see it. And their act is still closer to what you see in Soup to Nuts than it is to what it would become. And then the second short after that is I forget the title of it, but it's one where Curly becomes a boxer, and that second one is where you really see. That's the first time you really see the full-blown Three Stooges act, with Curly doing it, woo, 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 and all that stuff. But that first one, really go check it out. It's really interesting. I'll put that in a link to in the description below, so you go check it out. But it's really interesting, and I remember when I was a kid that sometimes you would see the same plot, kind of redone few times, and both of these first two I recognize the plot as plots that they recycled later, but these particular two films I had never seen. 5-star rating, Bob.
Okay, I'm going to give it a higher rating than it probably deserves. I'm going to go 3.5, hoping that people will watch it for its historical value. And, you know, if you're a film buff, if you're a comedy buff, if you're a Three Stooges buff, you need to watch this. So 3.5 for its value historically.
Bill?
I'm also going to grade on a curve because I think it's a 2.5, but I'm going to give it a 3 because if I hadn't seen this thing, I would be missing out on something that I really am interested in, and it's worth it. And 3 sounds about right.
Yeah, I agree. This is an essential watch. If you have any interest in film history and the Three Stooges, or you know, even beyond the three, just interested in what comedy was like back in those days. You know, in the early days of talkies, this is an essential watch. But I give it but just solely based on the viewing experience alone, I give it 3 stars. Pretty good, and nothing transformative, but definitely worth your time and definitely enjoyable. Okay, so there it is, Soup to Nuts, an early look at Larry, Harry, and Shemp. We'll be back next week with another pre-code selection. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know what that is. Okay, so long. Next week on Geezerology 2.0. Let's spin the wheel and see what we're going to watch next week. We are going to have a look at, that is a Bill choice, Madam Satan, about some bad girls doing some bad things or something. It sounds interesting to me, a Cecil B. DeMille movie. Okay, gang, join us next week for that one. We'll see you soon. Did you enjoy this video? If so, please smash that subscribe button and drop a comment to let us know what you think about the movie we just discussed. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Geezerology 2.0.